Hello amigos, and welcome to another episode. And today we're going to be looking at a different game. It's called Continent of the Ninth Seal, C9 for short. And this is an MMO for the guys who don't know what this is. And it's basically a bit like Fantasy Star Online, for example. It's a game I used to play, so that's why this game kind of like appealed to me. It's a game developed by good old Webzen. If you guys ever played Moo Online, that's an old game that I also used to play. It's quite good for its time, after playing RuneScape. Continent of the Ninth Seal is basically an action MMO. Now, I know that there's a lot of people that don't actually like action MMOs. I think that's just mad. I've always preferred sort of like real-time games, not really turn-based. I do like turn-based games, but playing an action one always seems just, well, obviously more realistic. It's real-time, come on. It's also, just so you guys know, it's an instant based game, so it's not one huge open world where you can just go to what I normally see is a huge group of mobs. You go over there, wipe them all out, wait for them to respawn, do it all over again. Again, I find that a little bit kind of boring. I prefer more action based games where you go through a scenario, and this isn't a brand new game. It's already been out for a while. I'm not quite sure how long it's been out for, but it's quite updated. I would say the graphics are definitely pretty good in certain areas. But heck, if you guys are into games like Fantasy Star Online, Vindictus, and other sorts of action RPG games, why not give this a try? Like, C9, it's pretty good, guys. Like, I've been enjoying it. Been playing it roughly probably a year on and off, so I haven't got super far into the game. Not very far at all, but like I said, it's not something that I play. Oh, and you guys may be also wondering, where do you actually get the game? Quite simple really. If you are interested in playing C9, just get yourself onto a search engine, type Webzen Games or C9, and you should be able to find the site quite easily. Once you get on there, make sure that you obviously get an account, so sign up with them. And you should get an email with your password and username, and you can log in and get started. Also, the great thing about this is the game's free. Like, you just download it. It's I guess it's kind of a big download, so it could take a while to download, but it's worth it. It's a good game. I know some people obviously often ask, okay, so yeah, the game is free, but what's the catch? Is it one of those play to win sort of like games? Well, yes and no. I don't, at the moment, like, as far as I've got into the game, I didn't really see it so much as a pay to win sort of game. Basically, most of the stuff in the game, if you actually take the time and effort to do some more runs and collect more money and, well, kind of grind basically, eventually you will get enough coin to purchase those higher ticket items. So yeah, obviously it can be kind of pay to win if you pay real money and buy items and sell them, and yeah, you can get money faster like that, I guess. But for those of you who don't want to spend any money, I wouldn't really worry about it, at least at the, well, early stages of the game. I know the first continent and the second continent doesn't really rely on that a lot. If you do further on, I'm not too sure. I don't think you do, but it's something I guess we'll have to see and we can talk about. And just before we get into the gameplay here, I just want to explain to you guys a little bit more sort of like what this game is about before you sign up and get your account. So what basically happens is the continent is at war, but for actual gameplay you obviously start off by picking a class, just like any old MMOs. You obviously got your fighter, your ranger, which is sort of like a magician ranger class, and then you got a witchblade, which is pretty interesting. They've also recently added mystic, which I think is basically like a fighter, just different weapons. I'd have to look more into that. But yeah, once you sort of pick out your class, you obviously do a tutorial, just like in most MMOs. After you do the tutorial, you basically start off by jumping into instances. So you do your instant, and at the end of every instant, there's a boss. Once you defeat that boss, you will have a choice of a couple of treasure chests, normally I think 5. You pick out of those 5 and you win loot. Obviously enemies do drop items and money and stuff, weapons. But yeah, the best way of finding it is obviously getting to those treasure chests. Obviously the game is separated into a couple of difficulties, so you got easy, normal, expert and master. Obviously the different difficulties, the better your prizes will be if you can do them. The game has had a lot of different updates going on at the moment. Some of them has, well, made a few people unhappy, while others say it's improved the game. I guess that will be completely, your personal choice to decide that. There is also a crafting system in the game for those who are interested in that sort of thing. I haven't delved too deep into it, but it seems simple enough. I don't think it's overly complicated. The game hasn't got so much, shall we say, a skill tree, but it does have a lot of skills that you can pick for each character. And what basically happens is you get a certain amount of skill points and you have to allocate them to the skills of choice. You can make mistakes, for example, but there is actually something that you can do in the game to reset your skills and earn those skill points back and sort of almost restart your character's layout skills. So with that said, I think this is enough rambling about what the game actually is. Let's actually go and create a character here and see what classes we got available. Start game.